Looks like the audio is live. Wow. 5 for 5. Welcome to the Hawker Rising YouTube channel. My channel. Benjamin, good to see you. Air quotes, good to see you. That's brilliant. However those notifications work, I have no idea. This is new for me. Certainly this is not planned. I just got in the door a few minutes ago, and I thought I had a couple of things left, a couple of tabs left open from earlier, and thought, okay, maybe it'd be a good idea just to, being the 25th of August, why not just make a few comments. So whether you're with me now, Benjamin, or with at some other point, welcome. Thank you for being here. All right, 25 August 2023. What have we got going on? I caught most of the caps brief today. Okay, and okay, maybe I'm blending, or maybe it's been covered on the last 2 days. The St. Bartholomew Day Massacre. I'm not prepared to cover that. I believe the dates given for that massacre, it's not just the 24th, it's actually August 23rd and 24th. Just looking it up. Because it's 1570. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Why does it say now August 24th and 25th? There's something amiss here, because I also have a source that does state the 23rd. So whether it was a 2 to 3 day, but 1572. In 1572, I think I've already mentioned, is 1 year after 5th Jesuit Superior General Claudio the Gimp Living Waters Aquaviva began as generalate. Just getting a specific date for that. Yeah, Claudio Aquaviva began as Jesuit generalate, February 19th, 1581. Let's just rail off his birthday. So born, Claudio Aquaviva, born 14 September, 1543. He has a death date of 31 January 1615. So there, Jesuit Superior General for a number of events. I'm just going to double check the Babington plot. Certainly the Guy Fawkes gunpowder plot, which a number of men are named. Babington plot. Yeah, 1586. Yes, there were a number of plots, not just the gunpowder plot of November of 1605. Remember the 5th of Guy Fawkes Mask, November. And sports fans to come join, watch, listen. That's the thing, because these are. Hey, great point, great question. I think it's just because it's late. It's being West Coast cap doc. I think on the Pacific, Pacific time would be George and William or Bill in Oregon. Yes, maybe there'll be a time for that. I'm not prepared for that. At least remember, this is just. I'm surprised I'm even like 5th day in a row. This certainly wasn't planned. But no, those are great. Those are great points, because they're that's important, because we're one big happy family. So just reading, why not invite those of the team, this Richie team, including Flying Monkeys sports fans? Yeah, maybe I can mention. Yeah, if I had a set time, and how about the fact that I've been consistently hitting the 11 o'clock. Well, okay, this is Pacific Standard, not Eastern Standard, like the Cap would be doing, but Pacific Standard, and this is just either. Again, the moment of, if we're going to do something, do it now. I'm going to be 5 minutes, and it turns into 30, or what it's been the last couple of nights, 50 minutes. So you can break out, I believe, you have a regular stream of 50 or so. If I have, how about this though? Remember, for me, this is certainly about the learning experience. And while saying that, I've forgotten my other point. They're certainly getting used to this. Not my forte. What I appreciate, especially being with the Cap and the team, obviously, because Johnny, think of, he's had. Hey, Eric, good to see you, man. Think of the experience that he's put into, so his previous YouTube channels, so streaming, like, he's been doing this for over a decade, and I still feel so brand new to this. And it's not an excuse. This is just the reality. It's okay. How does one get comfortable with this? I wouldn't even feel comfortable with, like, the idea of having to have the responsibility right now to interview somebody. So anyway, this is brand new, even though I've been a part of this for, let's see, I think I've been, wow, we're going back for me and the Surichi team 20. Well, I've certainly began working with the captain. My contribution started with just prior to Eaters of Children, and on the radio, or during the team briefs, I want to say early 2018, possibly, maybe in 2017. Wow, anyway, don't need to go down that. Certainly fascinating to think about, but even then, like, sweating bullets, I hated it. I hated, what was it? I think Friday. I can't remember that there was a particular day, whether it was Friday mornings, and I think it was, again, Johnny being Eastern Standard, so he would be hitting the briefs early, which was super early for me. And at that time, I had a limited access to, just literally just getting online and having to pedal through snow to the little office that I was working at the time, or a home office. And man, how about this though? Right next in this office, wireless Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi router, I would be wrecked. I didn't even, not even putting two and two together until after, obviously, learning something. As we continue to learn and grow, this is going back a few years, but this was so experienced firsthand, from the headaches, like that would literally lasted the rest of the day. It was brutal, working next to this particular Wi-Fi router, because of how I was limited with getting on with the team during those days. And I think the captain was using Skype, so the audio was consistently poor for almost each of us, except for the captain. And yeah, certainly frustrating. That was a good learning experience. I think we've all grown in some shape and form. I think we of course rib and break George's balls because, man, even he's stayed the same after all this time. I think even the kick in the balls back at I think at the Cap was after Johnny had some issues with George and his audio. I think George had said, "Oh, Eric John Phelps has sent me a laptop and like a headset." After I think Johnny had crowdsourced a headset for Johnny had crowdsourced funds for a headset for George, and the classic. My dog ate my homework. Well, I think the headset got eaten by George's dogs. Don't mind the time zones. Those who can join, that true. I think in part, it's again, at least this exists, and at whenever you convenience. How about the fact that somebody might find this worth listening to because they might get something out of it? That's still a bit of a mind. What do you say? A mind job? I don't know. I have to cough, and now I've got to. Whoo, okay. I had heard, so there's my ears perked up when I had heard the captain mentioned Nicaragua and the Jesuits. But first, what did I want to address? Let's see. I think I'd made a point or two the last couple of days, and I didn't fully complete. Oh my goodness, what am I? I think I certainly missed a few details, and then if it doesn't hit me until after, and then it's like shit. Captive audience, I don't get the whole message out, but it's like, okay, it's happened, let it go, move on. We'll circle back to it. Just like, how about you discussing yesterday, Pulp Fiction and the pawn shop scene that's come up I don't know how many times, so I've hit that a few times over the years. Okay, Jesuits, Nicaragua. I'm looking at jesuitseast.org. Jesuits of Canada and the United States issue statement on the Nicaraguan government seizure of the University of Central America. And of course, we're given dates. So August 16th, reports America Magazine. 16 August 2023, America Magazine reports the university's bank accounts had been frozen by the government so Nicaraguan government officials. How about this? If you don't know where Nicaragua is, look it up on a map. Get your what would you say? Jesuit Imagineering. Just find the location, see what it looks like, and there it is on the flat Earth. Given to us by, whether it's Google Maps. Remember, Google shares a birthday with the Jesuit order, September 27th. So the university bank accounts, frozen, government officials on 9 of August. But the fact it was published 16 August, reported by American Magazine, Jesuit American Magazine, I believe edited by James Martin, who is an alumni of Public University of Pennsylvania. Let's just look at our Jesuit general list. Remember, Sansuan drum beats. 18th Jesuit Superior General Lorenzo Ricci, Lawrence Ricci, Larry Ricci. His generalate superficially ended August 16th, 1773, just before the alleged suppression, the engineered, brilliantly orchestrated suppression of the Jesuit order. And why is this important? It's important because are we literally in our time re-witnessing? No, that's not right. Witnessing. Remember, nothing new under the sun. So just as a suppression, a type event was engineered back in the late 1700s or the latter half of the 1700s, is this the start of something again? This is very, very interesting, something to keep our eyes on. But I just wanted to note that date as a drumbeat. We're also, something else that caught my attention. I don't have to read through this article. I just wanted to hit this point. I was looking at briefly Nicaragua president. We have a Daniel Ortega, so born November 11th, 1945, 77 years old. With the brief scoping of this man, the current president, I have not found at the moment significant Jesuit residue. However, his wife, Rosario Maria Murillo Zambrana, so her name literally is like Rosary Mary, born 22nd June 1951, and 22nd June is the feast day of so-called Sir Thomas More. Sir Thomas More was instrumental. This is not my forte. Instrumental in what led to the death of William Tyndale on 6 October 1536. And Thomas More, how about this? It's listed. Where is it? The fact that his feast day, so within the Catholic Church, it's listed as the 22nd of June. In the Church of England, it's listed as 6 July. And 6 July, of course, is a direct shot, literally an arrow through Jan Hus. Remember, we have the burning of Jan Hus in 1415. John Hus. So, and this is Counter-Reformation language. Specifically, how about this though too? To the fact, and I brought this up a little earlier, the fact that later this year, on 22nd November, Ridley Scott, who shares a birthday, I believe it was with, I want to say Peter Hans Kolvenbach. So the 29th Jesuit Superior General. I just want to confirm that. Yeah, November 30th. So this is Ridley Scott's birth date, November 30th, 1937. We have Napoleon starring Joaquin Phoenix. Remember, shares a birthday with 3rd Jesuit Superior General Francis Borgia. But even just, I know this is a slight rabbit hole here, but remember, Ridley Scott's brother Tony Scott jumped off the Vincent Thomas Bridge in Los Angeles back in 2012 on 19 August, and I believe I covered. There's actually in 19 August. That's a double tap. That's a double Jesuit General date. We're looking at, I believe it's Luis Martin Garcia. 24th Jesuit Superior General, and Francis Xavier Verns, the 25th Jesuit Superior General. You have an August 19th date. So something going on there. And I think there was with the Tony Scott narrative, whether he had discovered he had a life. I can't remember the illness. We don't have to get into that right now. But anyway, significant enough. But nonetheless, the fact that we have a film about Napoleon Bonaparte, Napoleon the First, coming out later this year, and we know, of course, Napoleon, the timing of Napoleon being raised. Okay, remember, where back to this idea of an engineered Jesuit suppression. In France, I believe it was 1762, so countries had started already pushing the Jesuits out, literally saying, go away. Jesuit suppression, France. Suppression of France, 1764. Okay, I think I've been saying that wrong. I've been saying approximately 1762. Where did they go? Went to the island of Corsica, and Napoleon Bonaparte was so. Think of this: so the Jesuits move out of France in 1764. Napoleon Bonaparte. So it brings the question: was the Bonaparte family already selected? Because you have the birth of Napoleon Bonaparte, 15 August 1769. So the feast day of essentially the Assumption, the feast of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary. Interesting enough, Napoleon Bonaparte also has a Jesuit general death date connection, May 5th. And I don't have the specific general. Sometimes it's a birthday, sometimes it's a death day. And once in a while, it's when did they begin their generalate? But nonetheless, it's still significant. It's still a significant drumbeat. So the point being, back to what's happening in Nicaragua and the so-called suppression, we have a Lorenzo Ricci connection day. And if it's true, Lorenzo Ricci, 18th Jesuit Superior General, literally organized, if not facilitated, brilliantly executed, as put forth by Jesuit Freemason Frederick Tupper Saucy III in his Rulers of Evil, Useful Knowledge About Governing Bodies. And I do agree. We've as a team and personally, I've looked at not just this text, but other sources confirming names, place, and dates within the text. Saucy misses, I believe, on purpose certain details. Never covers the fact that the signing of the Declaration of Independence took place on Lorenzo Ricci's 73rd birthday. I say, as your Hawkeye, that the United States of America was the gift that Lorenzo Ricci, as the little horn. I know that there's this who's who. Is the little horn power? Is it the Black Pope? Is it the White Pope? Is there a dual nature to it? Is there a transient nature that it's both and yet one in particular? Did transference move prior to the Jesuit suppression, or at the resurrection 41 years later in 1814, while the papacy received its head wound in 1790? Well, there's a 1798 and then 1799. Anyway, I've not looked at the chat in a little bit. See if I missed, what can I say, or see if I've missed anything. Hold on. Normies. Yeah, YouTube, you know this. It's the place to literally. It's the place to be. It's like all other sites, streaming sites are nothing. That's probably ignorant to say. I can't. It's funny. I can't sometimes, like the computer that I use, like, will not properly run, whether it's BitChute or, and it's just literally F it. It's too irritating. I don't even bother. And I'm sure there's great information and great videos out there. Speaking of which, I thank you, Shep, so on. If you're gonna send a link to a video, don't just send the link and no information with it. If it's like a 40 minute video, remember, we all have, our time is precious. We all got stuff to do. I'm not spending 40 minutes going through a video wondering, I wonder what somebody saw. Hey, Pat Fitz. Hey, and if I'm not mistaken, you're across the pond. So if you're going to send a link to a video, and because something has caught your attention, caught your eye, caught your ear, note the time. If it's not a YouTube link, and send that along with the link. Otherwise, it's like, sorry, I've got other things to do. I've got my own work and then my own research on top of it. So not to, hey, but at the same time, thank you very much. And okay, I'll just read a couple things in the chat. Yeah, YouTube. Anyway, Eric, opinion, it's safe to say that Buddhism, the Buddhist religion, has also conquered Rome and her Jesuit order. The Dalai Lama is also a regular visitor to Rome's way. How about this? I love, this is the beauty of Frederick Topper Saucy, Jesuit Freemason, connects the Buddha with Enoch. This back to because Enoch's name literally means teaching, and he is the seventh, I believe, from excuse me, from Adam. Man is appointed mortal sorrow, but the blessed God shall come down teaching. Yeah, he's the seventh from Adam. And Saucy connects the Egyptian equivalent Thoth with Enoch. He connects Buddha with Enoch. There's a couple other, potentially Odin as well, as the source, or the source that would eventually become inverted post-flood, which is a whole other amazing topic, or a series of topics to get into, which we won't today. How about this? My own story. Buddhism for me was something I came across in my teens, and that of course, well, it's almost certainly I think if you follow the trail, you're inevitably going to find, one will find themselves inevitably at the feet of Jesus of Nazareth, literally. Okay, Buddha, yeah, and how about the Dalai Lama? Yeah, suck my tongue. To what was it, like a 9-year-old or something? And the Dalai Lama, I think JP had brought up some points about the Dalai Lama. Like literally, I can't remember how many years. I don't want to start guessing, but this current Dalai Lama has held that position for quite a long time. Has, I think, seen a handful of popes, maybe even back to Pope John Paul II, maybe even prior. The Gematria, the house always wins. Hey, Wireless Plum, I don't recognize your name. If I should, and I don't, I apologize. Yeah, let's see. House always wins. American independence. Remember, it's not whomever wins. Remember, who really wins? Rome. We Trump, Jesuit trained at Fordham, sent with an uncompleted degree to the so-called public University of Pennsylvania, and we've covered this exhaustively on Johnny. Johnny has covered this ever since I've heard Johnny's Resistance Rising podcast, that the University of Pennsylvania is run by the Jesuits. And significant names, even the likes of Neil deGrasse Tyson, I believe, has an honorary degree from there. We have Father James Martin, who runs editor-at-large or editor-in-chief of a so-called Jesuit America magazine. You have potentially ordained the late Michael S. Heiser. There are a number of other names. Those are just ones I can think of off the top of my head. New Zealand, we're having a cost of living crisis. I think that can be said anywhere where food prices have gone astronomically up. The media is blaming it on climate change, global warming. Call it what you, and how many buy into the narrative just because the people are sweating a little bit. Must be climate change. Need somebody to blame. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Thank you, Pat. Good to see you again. What am I missing? Odyssey, listen to Johnny. You're a living lit. Couldn't agree more. Trump, just another pawn. It's all, remember, if it's on a screen, it's Jesuit theater. Trump, it's again, what time does one devote to these things? Trump, there's the recent, the mugshot, which the lighting is, it's actually a little too good for it to be. Is that an actual mug shot? What was published? And it's supposed to provoke a response. Now, I've said this: when my father was still alive, my father was a wonderful litmus test to what was happening in the media, and without a doubt, how polarizing Trump is and was. If Donald Trump's face appeared on the screen, my father went from like 0 to 60 in 1 second. Would become very, very angry, and so seeing firsthand, I'm sure some shape or form we can say this about. There's an example somewhere in our lives, but this for me was one of those oh my goodness, holy shit moments. This is for reals. How it's like the 1980 George Orwell, Eric Arthur Blair, who was trained by Ursulines, I believe is a nun, the Ursuline nuns. I could be getting the order wrong. Eric Arthur Blair, George Orwell, 1984. There was the Goldstein 2 Minutes of Hate. Remembers the pressure release, an image of this figure named Goldstein. I could be getting the name wrong, but remember, we studied this in high school. I've not currently read 1984 recently enough to remember all the details, but I do remember this image of a particular person would be shown on screen, whether it was once a week or once a day, but it allowed the proletariat, who were confined to not just confined to their rooms, confined to their work. Shut up, don't say anything. You have Winston Smith hiding in his room, hiding his paper and pencil behind a brick. Everybody, literally, the example of our current papal Francis Brown panopticon, where nothing could be done without being seen. And then you have this event in the story of this image provoking, or time set aside that people could express their anger and hatred towards an image, a figure. It's like, and then that could be applied back to this idea of it's somebody coming in and saying it's the Jews, and presenting what, the narrative seems true on the surface, but that's the point. You dig a little deeper and find out, okay, it's a manufactured narrative. But as long as enough people carry the water for that, you flash an image of whether it's a Weinstein or a Soros and it just leads to stupid. It's and what gets done. Thank you, was Goldstein. Appreciate that. In UK, we've been flooded out. Wow, big time. Hardly any summer rain. Yeah, we've had the days and days and days here. So remember, I'm on the west coast of Canada. Days and days and days of sun, unbearably hot in many of our homes. And there was a brief rain. Like I can't even remember the last time it rained. There was a brief rain today, very brief. And yeah, pick your location with the flooding. You got the fires. You got this. You got that. So yeah, of course, we're being kept on our toes. There's no height scale behind him and a nameplate. Like, yeah, that too. Angry, vengeful look. I wonder if the angular, the shape of Donald Trump's face has also been manipulated. There are tools, whether in Photoshop, to liquefy pixels and move things around, but it's like the outer eyebrow, the raised eyebrow has been accentuated. You know, like the classic in superhero animation. Classically, you'll have the villains having a certain ratio in their face and physical features and so on, and the hero will always have it's not the same, but the hero will have also certain ratios. It's amazing what they're doing. Anyway, I thought that you, Benjamin, good. Yeah, there's no height scale. Good. I'm glad. Hey, the fact that you catch that, that's important, because how many people see that shot and their first thought is just asshole, and they'll just swear at it, be angry at the guy. And what's he worth? He just shrugs his shoulders. He's playing his part. Jesuit Theater 101. Playing his part. His life. He's cruise control. Okay, I did. Let's see, 20. Okay, how about this? So, and then just it's kind of, well, whether it's a joke. So today, 25th November, 25th of August. Where is it? I want to find the year. I don't want to just. We're going back to the Revenant, Leonardo DiCaprio. 1823, American fur trapper Hugh Glass is mauled by a grizzly bear while on expedition in South Dakota. Yeah. Hurricane Katrina makes landfall in Florida in 2005. Remember 2005, not a question in the world that was real. Not manufactured. A manufactured weather event, potentially a manufactured weather event gone horribly wrong. So that being said, if you have the means and the ability, obviously, you get some things together. You never know. How about back to the idea that imagine going to your water tap, public, whether you're on, well, obviously, if you're on well water, different story. But if you're on municipal water, one day you're going and flicking on the tap, nothing coming out. At least remember, a human being can last what? Well, it's phenomenal. Depending on, of course, if you have some fat stores, 3 months without food, but 3 days without water. And this isn't just 3 easy days. No, it's like one day of thirst, and the final 2 being extremely painful. Anyway, having a store of water is always a good thing. All right, I think I did have some other. Okay, while we're live, the sack of Rome in 410 AD. So the sack of Rome was on 24th of August, undertaken by the Visigoths, led by their king Alaric. And this is just the basic Wikipedia page. But just noting the sack of Rome, 24 August 410 AD. This was just prior to the final, so the closure of military Rome before it transferred over to papal Rome. So there's something going on here. But the fact of the Saint Bartholomew, the massacre taking place 24 August 1582. And remember, Claudio Acquaviva had just began his generalate in 1581. I want to say, I think 1582. This feels like I'm guessing, but or I think I'm guessing. Ratio Studiorum was also published. What would become Ratio Studiorum, Jesuit Ratio Studiorum in schools, was also published under Claudio Acquaviva, I believe, approximately 1582. Significant time in the world, and then of course leading to the explosion of whatever you want to call the Elizabethan age, Elizabethan era. Okay, I think I've said what I've thought about. Glad you guys are. Hey, it's good to see again, interacting with each other. Let's see, what have I missed? Looks like I missed a few things. Anyway, Pat, I hope you're doing well. Let's see, Goldstein, there's no height scale thought yet too. Book was written around 1900. Jesuit connections as well. Yeah, which would make sense. Hawker Rising. Another thing I'd like to mention. No, it's, remember, Jesuit construct. The idea that there's, well, whether it's a bipartisan, whether it's a two-party system, in I can't even tell you off the top of my head. It's like counting on one hand in Canada. What there's clearly two major parties, but then off to the right and left, there's some subtle, not as powerful, but wow, I feel like I'm going to be wow, and that's something I should know, but I don't have off the top of my head. But whether it's a two-party system or a multi-party, all sides are owned. Remember, and this is why if you're not familiar with it, find the fourth vow, the extreme oath of the Jesuit order. Get familiar with it. All sides are owned. All sides are infiltrated. Pulpits. And then back to this idea, if it's on a screen, it's literally Jesuit theater. So I suspect the Jesuits created what, democracy. There's shit. I don't know if it was in Saucy's Rulers of Evil, but it had to do with democracy being the final. It's actually civilizations through its stages of degradation. Democracy was the last stage before. I don't know, before a collapse. It's not anarchy. I remember seeing that somewhere, and I can't remember if that was mentioned in Saucy's Rulers of Evil. Useful knowledge about governing bodies. Okay. Any further questions? It looks like there's clearly some concerns. So here we go. I'm just, if you don't mind, let's see who. Father, thank you for each one here. You know our needs. Even before we know what we need, you see where we're at, and look at us spread out all over the place, enduring what we're enduring. We need you. We need your help, and we know that you are faithful. We thank you so much. We thank you for your Son, literally dwelt among us in the Word being made flesh. And Lord, just cover each one and just ask again, special blessing over each one here. Thank you so much for them. And whatever this means, the fact that we could gather even for a few moments is some type of fellowship. Thank you for that. And may each one be encouraged from this. In the name of your Son. Amen. Okay, I think unless there's pressing questions, we're going to wrap it up. Okay, August 25th. Hey, I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for the likes and for the comments too. I know there's a couple unanswered. I'll get to that. So, yeah. Again, certainly there's something to that. How many times, even the standalone, the name Yah being used, and I think even in the authorized version, it's. I'm not guessing, but there's a citation that the name Yah is actually used once. They kept it at least once, which is fascinating when you think about it. Anyway, certainly yes, controversial subject, but hey, we're not afraid of that. Okay. Thank you. Bless each of you, and yeah, go in His peace. Thank you. Okay. Bye for now.